Yeah, I just hit record.
Alright, cool. Hey everybody, this is that drummer guy Josh Runquist, and I'm here with Barney from Napalm Death. He's going to be playing here tonight at Station 4 in St. Paul, Minnesota. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Pretty cold, as you can see. Jacket's fucking zipped up to the floor, you know, so.
Yeah, and it just started a few days ago, too. It was unseasonably warm around here, and then all of a sudden just dropped down.
Every time I've been here, it's always freezing, so I'll have to take your word for that, you know. Honestly, every time I've been here, it's always freezing, you know.
Well, the good thing about Station 4 is it will get really hot, so...
Yeah. It just seems like one of those clubs where it's going to get pretty toasty, you know.
So. Oh, yes. At least we got a fan on you, so at least that'll help.
Yeah.
So how's the tour been so far?
Yeah, it's alright. I mean, it's still kind of in the early days. We've done some of Canada. We were lucky to be one day ahead of that Hurricane Sandy thing, so...
Oh, yeah.
But it was already starting to whip up when we were there, like on the East Coast, so we could tell that something was coming, you know. But we were ahead of it, so that kind of worked, you know, because otherwise we would have been right in the middle of it a day later.
Yeah, luckily you made it all the way through, so...
Yeah, I mean, not so lucky for the people that can't get out of the way, you know, but lucky for us.
Yeah, you didn't have to cancel any shows or anything, or
not
cause
at
a
all.
storm.
Not at all, no.
So how did this tour come together?
How do you mean?
I mean, like touring with Municipal Waste.
Oh yeah, it was just an idea that we had. That I mean, I've got to be honest, I don't know exactly who the idea came from. Whether it was, or it may just have been a kind of a meeting of minds, really. You know, we kind of talked about it, the possibility of doing it this tour quite a while ago, but of course it was just at that point it was just something that was being kind of proposed, really. You know, there was no sort of sort of plans at that point. So yeah, you know, it just kind of came together.
That's really cool because I like seeing bands that aren't necessarily the same genre playing tours together.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we have a connection perhaps in the ethos of the bands, you know, but that aside, every band that's on the tour, the permanent tour bands is Napalm, Municipal Waste and Exhumed, you know, and then we've got other bands coming in and dropping off at certain points. Some really good bands actually, you know, so some old classic bands, you know. So.
Oh, very cool, Yeah, one band that I knew that was on the tour, Vector. Originally they were supposed to be playing this show, but for some reason got dropped off the bill. I'm not sure what was behind that.
I don't know. I mean, well, it wasn't us. You know, it wasn't from our end. I don't know if they had.
I think it had to do with the venue, actually.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that happens sometimes, unfortunately. But very often we don't even know about it. You know, it's what happens.
Very true. So the new album, Utilitarian, I gotta admit, it's one of my favorite albums of the year.
Okay.
And Everyday Pox is probably one of my top 3 favorite songs of the year.
That's actually my favourite song of the album, you know, so. And I don't usually have a favourite song of the album, so it's kind of unique this time around, you know. I can definitely say that that's my favourite, you know. So, revelation, yeah.
And it fits so well together. I mean, you got John Zorn to do the saxophone for it.
Which is great, you know. Shane just was able to get a hold of him, you know. We kind of listened through the song and Shane was like, oh, I can really hear his sax on this, you know, going berserk in the background, you know. I was like, let's see if we can do it, you know. I mean, as with a lot of those things, you kind of go, yeah, well, it was a good idea, but I don't think it's going to happen. But, you know, lo and behold, 2-3 days later, we got the stuff with his sax. Brilliant.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you playing the song live?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Do you have like a backing track with him?
We do have a backing track, yeah.
Oh, very cool.
It'd be great if we could carry him around in a suitcase and just produce him, you know, willy-nilly, but unfortunately we haven't quite got to that sort of holographic. Oh wait, we have. Doesn't Jay-Z do it, somebody like that? When they project his hologram somewhere, I've heard something of that name.
Yeah, I noticed that became popular this year, later in 2011, hologram stuff.
Which is good, but it's pretty ludicrous when it's like Elvis Presley and people like that. Yeah, I'm going to see a concert tonight. Who would that be? Oh, Elvis Presley's hologram. Yeah.
It's might as well just be watching a movie or something.
Well, exactly. So what's the point? Just another excuse for these promoters to cream a load of money off people, you know, that they really don't need to spend, you know.
Oh, yeah. So how's the crowd reception been so far for you, Tazarian?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's 100% positive. I mean, I wish I could give you a negative percentage, but there hasn't been one, and that's really rare, you know, I think generally, so pretty happy about that.
Oh, very cool. Like I was saying before, it's one of my favorite albums of the year. Like, I can listen to it all the way through and never get bored with it.
Awesome.
It's just a great listen.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks.
What are your plans after this Municipal Waste tour?
You know what, we're going to kind of take some time to ourselves, like the band members over the Christmas and the New Year, and then we're going to start again in January. We've got some more European stuff in January, and then we have some other plans to look after South America and some other bits and pieces. But I think next year generally will be another touring year for us, because as long as I think there's so much kind of willingness to book us at the moment from promoters across the world that it doesn't make any sense to start that real definite, you know, final stage work on another album, you know, because you're wasting all that touring time, you know. So I think the year after we'll start like definitively on another album.
Very cool. Did you have any ideas for that yet, or is that just too far in the future?
No, there's nothing yet. I mean, I've got I've got a ton of like lyrics and lyric ideas written down on paper to employ, but I mean by that point in time they might be kind of too old, you know, because I mean nothing's like topical to the week, you know, when you write an album, but sometimes it is nice to have a certain currency to it.
Oh, very true. I was actually wearing this tonight because I knew I was going to be interviewing you.
Yeah.
I noticed that you're also a big progressive rock fan, as am I.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of that's like a press thing that kind of got overplayed.
Oh, really?
I like some stuff, you know, but it tends to be what are the good bands for me. You know, I'm not like this big genre enthusiast, but yeah, I like Dream Theater. I like a lot of the earlier stuff. You know, Yes, King Crimson, and you know, I mean, I could name them. Roll off a list of bands, you know, but
sure.
yeah, I mean the genre as a whole as it is now, especially the more metal side of things, tends to become very samey, you know. And like I say, I like bands for me, good bands. I'm not really a genre sort of, you know, specialist, unless you talk about like, I don't know, punk hardcore, you know, Scum and America, that's the genres then are really light. Other things tend to be a bit more picky, you know.
Well, it's not necessarily a bad way to go about it.
No.
Because, I mean, it's true of any genre where it's like, there's a lot of good bands in a genre, but there's a lot of saturation and watered down bands in there as well.
I mean, that genre that they're in, I think they are a great band. In their own right, you know. I think you could sort of put them there and then all the other bands tend to come down to there somewhat. You know, no disrespect intended, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But they have a special something within the genre, you know.
And somewhat related, is there any new bands within the last few years that you've been checking out at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to sit down and think about that, but yeah, I mean, there's good, like, bands like Retox, which was a band, I don't know if they're still around now, actually. They were on Ipecac, Mike Patton's label. They're just fast, really fast hardcore, you know. There was another band that cropped up from Norway a couple of years ago called Parliamentis Sodomy.
Oh, yeah.
And they were really good. They were like, it was like a one-man band, I think, just like grindcore. That was really good. Yeah, and there's always little bits and pieces here and there, you know. It's hard to, I'd have to sit down and think about it before I could reel off a list of new bands. Because to be honest, most of the music I listen to is either music from sort of, you know, 10, 20 years ago, or the same bands with new albums, you know what I mean? So not necessarily new bands. You know.
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
And kind of along the same lines, have you been making new fans on this tour, considering that Municipal Waste is a different genre?
Well, I mean, possibly, yeah. I mean, it's always hard to say, you know. But it seems that the response has been really good. I mean, before we did this tour, I mean, I always go into things with an open mind. I did envisage that there might be a separation of people that come to the shows with the Napalm Municipal Waste. But I think from what I could tell visually, I think people that would appreciate one band or the other, but actually appreciate both bands. Because I mean, the thing about Municipal Waste is they're not just, everybody kind of sees them as like this new wave of thrash band, but actually they've got, if you really listen to the sound, it's more in common with 80s crossover hardcore, like the sort of DRI, COC, AOD, that kind of fast, zany sound, you know, so it's not just like a thrash metal, it's a little bit more than that. So there's a bit of quite a common bond there with Napalm in one respect.
Oh, very much so. I've always noticed that about both bands.
Yeah.
So when I heard about this tour, I thought it was a great combination.
Yeah, so it's the Beatles.
And Exhumed as well.
Yeah, they're like, you know, the more carcassy kind of thing, so that works.
Very true.
Yeah. We got some other bands coming on that's worth mentioning. In Canada, we got Daigoro Abortions. It's a classic old Canadian punk band. We got Attitude Adjustment on the West Coast. Again, classic US hardcore band from back in the 80s. We got the Dwarves are playing with us in Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
Fucking magnificent. You know, so it's nice, all these different bands with all their own quirks. It's brilliant. It's great, you know. It's not just like, generic, you know, death metal or hardcore bands, you know.
Yeah, it's good to get classic bands.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm very glad to see that.
Yeah.
So just to wrap things up, is there anything else that you'd like to say that I haven't brought up yet?
Well, you know, I mean, I know it's you know, you always tend not to say this, but thanks to everybody for supporting us. You know, it's I have to say that it's been 3 years since we were last here in the States. You know, even with the bill that we've got, which we were like, yeah, you know, how's it going to be if people forgotten about us? But it's been better than it ever was, to be honest with you. You know, it really is. So, can't complain, you know. So,
since that time, actually, about 2006, I got the Exhumed and Death compilation, and that's where I first discovered you guys. I heard Scum. When I first heard that, I never heard music like that before. Just like my hands
a lot of people say the same thing, even those that first got into Napalm in the 80s, you know. So, yeah, it's good that it has that reaction on people, you know. A lot of bands you listen to, you're like, yeah, well, it's great, but I've not heard it before, you know. But that's the problem.
Well, I'm glad I can say that because you have been one of my favorite bands for a very long time. It's sadly my first time seeing you guys, but I'm glad to see this stuff that you have going.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. So once again, this has been Barney from Napalm Death, and this is that drummer guy Josh Runquist. Thank you.
Cheers.